We now go inside out with SNY NBA insider Ian Begley. And Ian, you covered Carmelo Anthony when he was with the Knicks. So what's your view of his New York legacy?
Well, I think he made the Knicks relevant again, which is no small feat considering what this franchise has been through for most of the past 20 years. So you start there. And then I think it's just unfulfilled expectations because the Knicks never got to even a conference final with Carmelo Anthony as the face of the franchise. I think you put some of that on him. You put some of that on management and coaching. But with Phil Jackson, after Phil Jackson took over, there was just never a strong relationship there between Phil Jackson and Carmelo. And we all know how it played out there. But I'll go back to the Roy Hibbert block at Indiana, Knicks having a chance to force a Game 7 back at their building, Roy Hibbert blocking Carmelo at the rim. You wonder if things could have been different there. But also, you play a game here. You play an interesting game with who was Carmelo Anthony's best Knick teammate. Was it Amari Stoudemire, who was off injured? Was it Jason Kidd, who was at the end of the rope? Was it, Iman Shumpert? But what you're left with is he didn't have a ton of help around him in New York. So I think blame could go all around for why it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. But he certainly made the Knicks relevant again.
Yeah, that Pacers series was certainly a tough one for the Knicks fans. All right, do you think his number 7 will be retired by the Knicks organization?
Yeah, my guess would be it will be, leading up to this announcement, prior to this announcement, just in conversations with people who would be familiar with the decision, they felt that there was a momentum towards Carmelo Anthony's number 7 getting retired in the MSG rafters. The decision I don't think has been made yet. But based on that, based on where the momentum was going, I would be surprised if it wasn't retired. When they do it, I'm sure it will be sometime next year if they do it. And so, yeah, I would expect them to retire that number 7.
Well, as long as they do Bernard King first, that's fine. I have no problem. You want to put Carmelo up there, but let's put Bernard King up there first. So, back to the legacy question, you mentioned kind of unfulfilled expectations. Where did it all go wrong with Carmelo and Phil Jackson? Because, if memory serves correctly, Phil could have let him go, but Phil brought him back as one of his first moves, but then they never seemed to be on the same page.
Yeah, I think it was Phil Jackson would have been a great head coach for the Knicks, but as a team president, his presence wasn't there, but he was still kind of commenting here and there on the team. And I think that when you do that from the top of the tower, instead of being the head coach, being on the plane with everybody, being in the gym with everybody, there's a disconnect there. So I think that was part of it. And also, he didn't think Carmelo bought fully into the way that he wanted to play. And Carmelo probably thought Phil didn't put talent around him to succeed. So it was an ill-fated marriage, I think, from that first season on.